I'm going to start reading Staring at the Fire, so here we go. Staring at the Fire by Stacey Day. This is going to be an unedited version. This is what I originally wrote. It's one of my original copies of the book, so I don't know what it says, so it's going to be like a reaction for me too. Book summary. When I met my old friend in the park in December 2020, there were a lot of decisions that I needed to make. First question: what do I want? My husband or my old friend? What I wanted most was peace within. I cannot carry on with life broken, a break that only I could mend. This led me to the journey to find myself. On the journey, the mission to find the sunshine within. The utmost importance to nourish my joy garden. Look at my mental health as a flower. For the first time in my life, I stopped running, sat down, and started digging into my head. Till I need to learn how to repair my joy garden before it was too late. Spending so much time tending to other joy gardens. Put this on the screen. That's how everything used to tab down like that. Has left me on empty. We have we are left with some questions I had to ask myself. How and what do I need to do to have a fruitful return in my joy garden? What I found is to remove toxicity from my joy. This led me to find painful truths about my life, which meant life-changing decisions must be made. In order to repair my joy garden, when I stopped running, found when I stopped running from my problems, had to take a I had to take a long look at my life. I decided that if it did not spark joy, it had to go. First thing that had to go. Why? 'Cause the sparking of the joy without I left my job without the distraction of my without the distraction of my job and your livelihood. I was forced to take a long look at my marriage. Now, update on this. This was the when I first had like I needed to go to the hospital when all this stuff was going on. Like that's my writing is all jumpy and stuff because of my mental health. So now that I'm on medicine, I can see clearly what this was. It was a manic episode that just went on for 3 solid years. So I'm exhausted. In order to save my joy garden, I had to be honest with myself. It was do or die. If I do not fix what is wrong in my joy garden, I will disappear into the dirt like so many before me. My guardians in my galaxy whispered to me, dig. Dig is just what I did. What I found was eye-opening and healing. On the journey, I found I can be merry, happy, alone. Even a simple woman can yield a fruitful garden, remembering who I am. Strength gave me the strength to do the one hard thing I had been putting off, a divorce, a much needed divorce. However, I do not like to admit defeat. My pride was the devil in my head, and if I do not admit hard truths about my life, I will not have successful joy garden. In the journey of replanting my joy garden, first reminding myself what I already knew, I am enough. I had every tool, tip, strategy to get out of the situation safely and intact. I had every tool I needed to complete this mission. However, ending a 12-year relationship is not easy, and even though every sign pointed me away from the marriage, I struggled to break up my child's home. However, broken parents not loving each other was not a healthy environment for a child absorbing everything. My biggest fear causing my child trauma, and here I am sitting in my glass house eating my humble pie, and hard truth was we could not repair under the same roof. We were broken beyond repair. I do not have enough energy to tend to anyone else's garden. We have to repair separate from each other. This decision was obvious, but not easy to complete. Using the tools that I learned from my mother before me, but mostly using the tools that I learned from women before me, but mostly my mother. My mother had spent her entire life loading me up with tips, tricks to avoid situations like the one I found myself in. And I knew her dying wish, and even if she never said it out loud, the decision was mine alone. I can be mean and stubborn. My mother has learned to speak with me in coded messages and telepathically. She would want to use her words that are in my head to help guide my ship out of another storm. My mother's words of wisdom were my secret weapon in this mission. When she is not here to help guide her granddaughters out of the storm of boys, now they will be able to read her words. My mother's only wish for any of her descendants is to be happy, truly happy, whatever that looks like. When I looked at my marriage, I knew that my mother would want me to be happy. Happy was not my marriage. Now, I must decide what makes me happy. She would want me to find a love that I'm deserving of, but mostly she would want me to be happy. For myself, by myself. Never placing a man above the well being of my child. Her words are my survival guide. There is nothing she would want more than to save women like her, women like me. And in my life, I have been put in a unique situation where I am the person. What? Where I am the person that can save others like us. I had to undo some of the decisions made by a broken girl. A broken girl was not me. I was a grown woman. My mother trained me to make sure that I do not rely on a man. That part of me that cannot be taken or disvalued. I just had to light the fire. I was ready to set my life ablaze. My joy garden needed to be destroyed to the ground, and there is just a person that will be happy to spark the match for my flame. The heat from my fire was causing quite a panic, but never fear. Looks like there is a storm up ahead. Now, facing the storm, I knew what I needed to do. Use the lessons learned from my experience from living in the war. The battle will be hard, but it will be seasoned soldier like me. I knew what I needed to do. This was my one woman job. This was a one woman job, and no one can get me out of this but me. Understanding that hurt people is step one. Holding resentment for things that cannot change is not productive. Finding compassion in the pain get is how you get on the pathway of healing. Some days I'm just a scared girl trying to find the sunshine in the storm. Slowly I relearn how to be brave my demons with despite my demons with the beating drums of despite my demons with the beating drums of negative self-talk. I remember that I am enough. I am enough. You don't know how hard it is for me to always believe I'm enough. When I said I'm doing a great job right now, I'm feeling enough. I'm feeling like a Thanksgiving meal. I'm not a snack. I always say I'm not a snack. I'm a Thanksgiving meal. You're only gonna have it once a year, but you're gonna have all the fixings, and you're gonna have everything that you ever wanted on your plate, and it is gonna be full, full, full. You're gonna get seconds. You're gonna love it. It's the mashed potatoes. It's the gravy. It's the roll, the buttered roll, the good rolls that you buy from the bakery. That's me. I'm a Thanksgiving meal. Beans, greens, tomatoes, potatoes, yams, corn, beans, greens, tomatoes. I need. When I set sail on the journey to unlock the root cause to my mental health garden. This tornado has destroyed my joy garden. Now I am forced to take a long look at who and what is to blame for my destruction. The only place to go was within my head, to dig out what was bothering me. The first part of 2021 has been sitting inside of my head. I found myself, the bottom of the volcano of broken promises. I was broken, beaten, and destroyed. I had no other choice but to replant the joy garden, slowly seeded my joy garden with only the most fruitful memories, turning my joy garden into fruitful darkness, met with only my emptiness, and everyone I loved told me I was crazy. Now I needed to take a long look at myself and face painful truths, and doing so will lead to the peace and rest from the war. That is the introduction to Staring at the Fire. And despite my demons with the negative, despite my demons with their their beating drums of negative self-talk, I remember that I am enough. The end.